The U.S. market closes mixed on concerns over President Trump's trade policies. The Dow Jones corrects while the S&P 500 registers minor gains to snap a 4-day losing streak. The Nasdaq too ekes out gains ahead of Nvidia's results as volatility continues following a flurry of weak economic data. Asian markets have opened largely higher despite a mixed handover from Wall Street. The GIFT Nifty, however, is indicating a slightly subdued start for our own markets. Brent crude has hit a 2-month low around $72 a barrel as a large U.S. inventory and potential peace deal between Russia and the U.S. weighs on prices. Gold, though, remains range-bound around $2,900 an ounce. Ultratech looks to expand its presence in the construction value chain. The company enters the wires and cables segment with a capex of around 1,800 crore rupees over the next 2 years. A manufacturing facility in Gujarat is expected to be commissioned by the end of December 2026. And U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that Ukraine's President Zelensky will visit the White House on Friday to sign a rare earth minerals deal. He also says that the deal will not include any significant security guarantees from the U.S. Good morning. You're watching Power Breakfast this Thursday morning. We're back after a holiday on CNBC TV 18 in the Mumbai News Center. I am Hormuz Fatakia. Let's first take a look at how the Asian markets have started off. And contrary to how the handover was from Wall Street, which was a volatile and a subdued one, it's a predominantly green screen across the Asian markets. The Hang Seng, which was a significant outperformer yesterday with surges of over 3%, is still continuing to build on those gains, trading with gains of almost 1%. The Taiwanese index too trading above the flat line with gains of around 0.25%. The Nikkei in Japan is trading above the flat line. The Shanghai Composite too is above the flat line. The only underperformer though is the Kospi in South Korea, which is trading with losses of around 0.6%. But predominantly it's a green screen across the Asia Pacific, led by the Hang Seng, which has been an outperformer all through this year so far. We'll pull up the GIFT Nifty as well. That will give you an idea of how our own markets are likely to start off. Absolutely flat. We are reopening after Wednesday's holiday. Today, of course, is the monthly expiry for the February series. So for now, the expiry day is likely to start off on an absolutely flat note is what the implied open is suggesting. But moving to Wall Street, then we have to digest 2 days of cues from there. Yesterday's session was a mixed one because most of the benchmark indices came off the highs of the day as concerns about President Donald Trump's trade policies continue to grow. The S&P 500 ended just above the flat line, snapping a 4-day losing streak. The Dow Jones corrected almost 200 points from the highs of the day, and the Nasdaq too ended higher, and this was ahead of Nvidia's results, which were reported after the bell. And the fourth quarter results were beat on Wall Street expectations, but revenue grew around 78% during the quarter. The full year revenue rose to $130 billion. CNBC's Bertha Coombs gets us a wrap of all the action on Wall Street.
U.S. markets were mixed across the major indexes once again in Wednesday trade, but things ended up a little differently. The S&P 500 narrowly avoided its fifth straight day of losses. The Dow was down 188 points, the S&P up fractionally, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq rode along as well, ending up 49 points. Amid the push by the Trump administration to bring manufacturing back to the United States, pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly announcing it will invest at least $27 billion to build 4 new American manufacturing sites and expects to create 3,000 high-skilled jobs in the process. The investment also comes as demand soars for Mounjaro and Zepbound. That's the drug maker's blockbuster weight loss and diabetes drugs. Lilly says it still hasn't decided where the sites will be built. Meantime, Amazon on Wednesday unveiled its long-awaited revamp of Alexa with generative AI features. Amazon execs say Alexa Plus will be able to tailor its tasks to specific people in a user's household. It will be able to do things like buy concert tickets, make restaurant reservations, or order groceries, along with a host of other tasks. The service will cost $19.99 a month for those who don't have Amazon Prime, but will be included as one of the Amazon Prime benefits. Amazon has faced pressure to upgrade its digital assistants since ChatGPT debuted back in 2022. Some of those features will start to roll out next month. That's what's happening here in the U.S. Back over to you in Mumbai.
Well, US President Donald Trump held its first cabinet meeting where he said that duties against Canada and Mexico will take effect and that his trade war will include a 25% tariff on goods from the European Union as well. Now, Trump also covered a wide range of topics, ranging from Doge's efforts to cut government spending to immigration, the economy, and the war in Ukraine. Here are some key excerpts from that.
We have made a decision. We'll be announcing it very soon, and it'll be 25%, generally speaking, and that'll be on cars and all other things. And European Union is a different case than Canada, different kind of case. They've really taken advantage of us in a different way. The damage has been done. We've lost millions of people due to fentanyl. It comes mostly from China, but it comes through Mexico and it comes through Canada. And I have to tell you that, you know, on April 2nd, I was going to do it on April 1st, but I'm a little bit superstitious, so I made it April 2nd. The tariffs go on, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I think you're going to see something that's going to be amazing. We've been taken advantage of as a country for a long period of time. President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. And I want to thank Howard and Scott for the job you guys did in putting it together. Really did an amazing job. And that'll be on rare earth and other things. The previous administration put us in a very bad position, but we've been able to make a deal where we're going to get our money back, and we're going to get a lot of money in the future.
And in a separate question on Elon Musk's existence in Trump 2.0, Trump praised Musk while judges questioned the Doge cost cutting. Listen in to that.
We're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here.
Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, well, throw them out of here.
Well, that's all the global market action. Well, how will all of this impact our own markets? Our research team joins in with how the trade setup looks like and the stocks that are likely to be in the news today. First up, Vivek joins in to get all the market cues that you need to watch out for. Vivek, good morning. The monthly expiry today, it's a volatile handover from Wall Street, but what's the setup looking like today?
Well, that's right. Good morning. All important February expiry, is upon us, and it's been a weak series as far as the entire market was concerned. Now, we also have to keep in mind that we are coming off a holiday, so we have to take into account cues from two separate trading sessions as far as overnight cues are concerned. So remember, U.S. markets yesterday managed to snap a 4-day losing streak, but on Tuesday it was a significant selling pressure that we saw across all of the U.S. indices. Oil prices now are continuing to trade near 4-month lows. Brent at the $72.7 a barrel marker. What did we do on Tuesday? Indian markets, remember, the Nifty especially was down for 6 straight sessions. Broader market underperformance continued. Advanced decline ratio very much in favor of the decline. So markets continue to remain in the grip of the bears. What is it that we're watching out for today? Well, there's been significant changes coming in, especially as far as regulatory changes are concerned. So, and as well as a very big entrant in the cable and wireless space. Names like Havells, Polycab, KI. Watch out for all of these names. They could be under pressure as Ultratech has announced significant capex to get into this particular segment. And the other set of stocks that will be in focus will be the banks as well as NBFCs. There's been significant regulatory easing coming in from RBI in terms of risk weights, both for NBFCs as well as MFI. So that particular space will be in focus. Asian markets, GIFT Nifty, all indicating a subdued start for our own markets.
There's an important space to keep an eye out for, as Vivek was highlighting with the latest measures announced by the RBI. Vivek, thanks a lot for that. And some stocks that you need to keep an eye out for in today's session, starting off, of course, with Ultratech in the big announcement that they made on Tuesday evening that they are planning to foray into that wires and cable space in Gujarat with an 1,800 crore rupee capex. They are going to build a facility over there in Bharuch over the next 2 years. That will be commissioned in December of next year. And this capex will be funded mostly by internal accruals or by borrowings as well. Now, this move also puts the other wires and cables players in the spotlight, like Polycab, KEI Industries, Havells, RR Kabel, and of course Phenolex cables, and most of these stocks have corrected anywhere between 25 to 50% from their recent peaks. Now Bharti Airtel is also in focus because it made an announcement that it is in talks with Tata Play to merge their DTH businesses. Now there's been a lot of concern over the future of this industry considering the streaming boom, and as a result of which Bharti Airtel has made this announcement. Nasdaq is also on your radar because it has won a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract from the UK Public Services Department, and the estimated value of that is around about $85 million, and that will be spread across a 2-year period. Vesuvius India is going to be reacting to its results, and its 23% revenue growth. Margins were impacted because of higher input costs, and additionally they have also declared a dividend of 14.5 rupees a share, and they'll be splitting one share of 10 rupees into 10 shares of 1 rupee each. So keep that on your radar as well. Dr. Reddy's, where it has received the US FDA EIR for its API manufacturing facility in Bolapuram in Hyderabad. It's Bolaram in Hyderabad, and the inspection has been classified as voluntary action indicated. Vari Energies has won an order for the supply of solar modules worth for around 410 megawatt peak from a unit of Aditya Birla Renewables. Coforge is going to consider a stock split on the 4th of March, so keep that on your radar. The stock has been an outperformer recently. And Tata Power, who has signed an MOU with the Assam government to develop a 5,000 megawatt renewable and clean energy over the next 5 years, for which it will be making an investment of over 30,000 crore rupees during this period. So plenty of stocks that you should be keeping an eye out for in today's trading session. We'll take a short break. Well, up next, Ultratech is eyeing a foray into the wires and cables business. More details on this after the short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Onto the big results from overnight. Nvidia's results had topped estimates, with revenue jumping 78% from a year earlier to $39 billion. Now let's listen in to what Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang spoke about on AI, DeepSeek, and of course their newly launched Blackwell chip.
As you recall, we had a hiccup in our design flaw in Blackwell that we found early on last quarter or quarter before that. And we recovered tremendously well, and I'm very proud of the team for that. And so for those reasons, I feel pretty great from an execution perspective. From a demand perspective, you know, DeepSeek was fantastic. It was fantastic because it open sourced the reasoning model that's absolutely world-class. Just about every AI developer in the world today has either incorporated R1 using, it's called distillation, distilled from R1, or using techniques that have been open sourced out of R1 so that their models could be a lot more capable. Across the world, AI has become better as a result of the last several months. We had a fantastic quarter, a terrific ramp. Nothing was easy about it. And a couple of quarters ago, of course, people were worried about how successfully we'd be able to ramp something as complex as Blackwell. Blackwell, people don't, you know, maybe they just forget that it's not just a chip, but it's a whole system. That system is 1.5 tons, has 1.5 million components. You know, it's incredibly hard to build. It's built in 350 plants around the world, and 100,000 different operators, factory operators, you know, contribute to building this thing. And so I think it was logical to be concerned about the ramping of Blackwell, but we have now successfully ramped Blackwell.
Interesting results there from Nvidia, the stock ending 1.5% lower in extended trade. But back home, the big announcement made by Ultratech, and it's planning to expand its presence in the construction value chain with an entry into the wires and cables business. Nigel is here to tell us more. Nigel, good morning. What's Ultratech up to here now?
Well, that's right. You know, Ultratech has proposed to make their foray, make their presence, extend its presence in the construction value chain. What are they proposing? They're proposing to put on a capex of close to around 1,800 crores. Over the next 2 years, they're looking at setting up a facility at Bharuch, Gujarat. And the funding will be by a mix of debt as well as internal accruals. Remember, it'll be very, very small for them in terms of a capex. But those are the basic details. Why is Ultratech moving into the cables and wires space? Well, a few reasons could come up for you on the screen. One is that industry itself has been growing by close to 13 to 14% in the last few years. The industry, which was around 80,000 crores, is expected to go to around 1 lakh crore or thereabouts. So there's an industry tailwind. Next up, they could be sourcing some part of their raw material requirement, aluminium, copper, from a group company, since Hindalco is into that. Besides that, they are focused on strengthening their building products division, and Ultratech Building Solution already has around 4,400 outlets. So they've been stressing that they want to do this, and that could be one of the reasons that they're looking at UBS, which is Ultratech Building Solution, strengthening it further. If we're looking at the margins, well, the margins in the cables and wire business, going by the industry peers that we have, it's in the vicinity of around 8 to around 12%. Ultratech currently does more than 15% of margins on the cement, core cement business. But in terms of return ratios, the ROC of the cables and wires business actually will be better than what they're doing in the cement business itself. So margin a little bit lower, but return ratios will be better. What will the street not like, though? So the street is a little bit concerned about capital allocation. One would think that they would actually use this money to further strengthen their presence in cement, because they have been rock solid out there. They are the big king of the ring out there. So the street would have liked them to focus more on cement. So some queries on capital allocation. The second point is you already have Grasim, that already is into paints. One argument is maybe they should have done this cables and wires for a wire Grasim. So those are the 2 points out there. How do the numbers stack up? Well, if they're putting close to around 1,800 crores, that will be close to around 10% of the total annual capex that they do. On a cash flow basis, they generate more than 10,000 crores. So funding is not an issue. It's very, very small for them in that scheme of things. And what could the revenue potential be? Well, going by industry estimates, around 4 to 5 times asset turnover. So you're putting close to around 1,800 crores. The revenue could be around 7,000 crores or thereabouts. And you're looking at margins in the vicinity of around early teens, 11 to around 13% or thereabouts. So once it ramps up, it could do around 700 crores or thereabouts, which will be close to around 5% of Ultratech's EBITDA, say, in the next couple of years. Jefferies, well, they have a buy rating on the stock of around, with a target price of around 13,000 rupees odd. They are not ruling out, maybe we'll see a knee-jerk reaction, but they say if you see some kind of weakness in the stock, it's actually an opportunity to get in. So Ultratech making its foray into the cables and wire business. I'll tell you what, for Ultratech it could be mildly negative, but the cables and wires listed players could be very nervous in today's session.
We'll watch out for that nervousness today. Nigel, thanks a lot for that. Take a short break. Up next, cues from the commodities market. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and Manisha Gupta now joins in with all the updates from the commodity space. Manisha, good morning. Oil seems to be losing some boil now. It's onto a slippery slope.
Oh, well, absolutely. That's how it looks like. And I'll start with the crude oil prices, which are trading at a 2-month lows right now on potential Russia-Ukraine deal. Well, lifting of Russia sanctions could increase global supplies is what the markets are working with. And then this whole tariff conversation coming strong back yet again could move that you could be looking at lower, slower economic demand. And that is what is bothering the markets. But not just crude or metals, it also has been about gold, where we were trading at a 1-week lows right now. There is profit taking, and the markets also are reacting to the China gold import data, which has seen a decline of 45% in the month of Jan, month-on-month basis. Well, that is what is weighing on. But we are still holding around 2,900, and that is because the ETF buying has been strong. The gold is also taking support from tariffs, weak economic data. And it's not just gold, by the way. Today, it's also the silver prices, which have seen a 0.5% decline in the overnight market, so off its 3-month highs for silver as well. So some profit taking is what you're looking at in precious metal prices.
Indeed, Manisha, thanks a lot for that commodity update. And that's the big takeaway from that crude prices are trading at a 2-week low. We'll keep an eye out on all the oil sensitives in today's trading session as well. But with that, we call time on this edition of Power Breakfast. From me and the team that put this show together, thank you so much for watching. Bazaar Morning Call sets you up for the F&O expiry session.